All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble. Of course, yes, indeed. We'll be talking about some interesting news today. Got a bunch of super chats already, the bonus holes and Mulgera and so forth. I believe I have several messages coming through. I'll have to look at them really quickly. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the UCLA riots and, of course, Tucker Carlson on paganism and some other bullshit. We've got the Libertarian Convention. It looks like Donald Trump may actually be showing up at the Libertarian National Convention to speak. This, at first, I thought it was parody. I figured, okay, they're putting this here to get attention or something like that. No, apparently it's confirmed. Donald Trump is actually willing to address the Libertarian National Convention in D.C. on May 23rd. Now, of course, he might have a court date that day, and they'll probably try to stymie him some way. We'll see what happens, but that would be one for the ages, that's for sure. News organizations are bitching at the moment because people have trust issues in news organizations. It's warranted. There's a reason why they have those trust issues, but they're vetching about it. Cranberry extracts could boost microbiota and counter cardiometabolic diseases. Yes, indeed. Apparently, cranberries are good for you after all. Anyone who's ever eaten a nice Thanksgiving dinner already knows that. They tend to provoke urination as well. If you've got any pee-pee complaints, should definitely have some cranberries. And judge ruling on Trump's alleged gag order violations, telling him that he could face jail time. He's probably not. That's a little bit of a bluff, but they fined him $9,000. And I was thinking to myself, Trump has several billion in assets. $9,000 may be a lot to you and me. It ain't nothing to Donald Trump. He shrugged his shoulders. He probably laughed when that verdict was handed down. Let's get to these super chats. The bonus holes, part 1. Sorry for the black pill, but we've decided we'll be voting for Biden out of spite if X doesn't unban us within 3 days. We're done standing for free speech if no one's going to have our back when we get targeted for censorship over our views. Part 2. If the right can get all worked up and destroy Bud Light over something as trivial as Dylan Mulvaney, surely they can do the same to Elon for lying to us about free speech, but they have not done so. Please DM me, by the way. Well, I mean, I'm sure you have a burner account with details on that case and exactly what you got banned for. I'll look into it. Panic at the Bistro. A vote for Joe Biden is a vote for globalism. She yank 'em a bank till a clank. Pun me strone. The DNC 2024 will be held in Chirac, the worst place for the Dems given the soft on crime policy, the border crisis, and being close to the Muslim enclaves in Michigan. Also, the DNC 1968 riots were there too. Yeah, I'm thinking that there's probably going to be significant unrest there. DTF, clank clank sticks from Poultney, Vermont, Trump 2024. Oh, you're not far away. Poultney's like a 20-minute drive from here, I think. Excellent. Muddy Drip 6665. Morning. If Sticks yesterday on our walk, we found a chicken. Weird case. We can't have chickens in our area. It's a sign to start a chicken army. I want to raise some chickens. I also want a retarded goat. Like, I want to get the goat that's mentally disabled out of the litter. The one that, like, licks the electric fence and does crazy shit with its eyes. Harrison Bergeron. Ralph Yarl's family is suing the housing authority for where the man that shot him lives. They are attempting to scare housing authorities into doing gun control for them. Good luck to them on a constitutional basis. The Gen X Gamer. Does Gnome's puppy story take her out as VP option? No, it does not. But it definitely damages her credibility with independent voters. Now, I realize that what she was doing is sort of just a rural America thing and was pragmatic. But when you say somebody shot a puppy in a gravel pit, you know, the legacy media doesn't like her. They're going to run with it. Bo Cephas. Cranberry stuffed biltong. Let's go. Clank. If you like that, buy some pemmican, actually. It's pounded with herbs and berries, actually. Mulgera 85. Trump at LP National and my slam vocals being Sticks approved. The last 24 hours have been interesting, to say the least. Yes, Mulgera does good vocals, actually. Have to do a collab, maybe. Stormblood 20. Watched any of David Schweikert in Congress? No, I haven't, actually. We'll get right into the news here. I don't mind Tucker Carlson. I warned people about him when he was at Fox News. when he was unceremoniously fired from Fox and he went rogue, and actually they threatened a lawsuit, I think, against him, I gained respect for the man. And I still respect many of his talking points. He is walking the walk. He's definitely uncensored himself. Tucker Carlson, uncensored, of course. And some of his takes are really good. He's no proponent of gun control. He's no proponent of globalism. Certainly doesn't like censorship. So, you know, I've grown more fond of him. But he said something the other day that is completely and totally wrong. The defining features of a pagan society are slavery and human sacrifice, so it shouldn't surprise us to see their resurgence in a post-Christian America. Now, there are several problems with this. Firstly, paganism is a blanket term. Like when I refer to myself as a pagan, it doesn't mean that I'm a specific variety like Norse paganism, Slavic paganism, Hellenism, or something like that, or Egyptian paganism or something like that. It's a blanket term. So first you got to define what group of pagans are you referring to. I would point out the abandonment of paganism in Rome and the diaspora thereafter and the Germanic tribes and stuff did not stop butchery. It did not stop sacrifice. It did not stop any of these things, and certainly didn't stop slavery. Slavery was practiced in the United States among good Bible-thumping Christians well into the 1800s. It did not require pagan mentality for that to be promulgated. Now, what he's specifically referring to here are things like abortion, so lightning rod right-wing issues. I understand that. I understand that he's drawing a colloquial reference here. But using the term pagan to describe the abhorrent behavior of some human beings, enslaving each other and raping each other and stuff like that, paganism is not required for people to act in such a manner. Sacrifices still remain common in parts of the world. They're not all pagan. Human sacrifice arguably being practiced even among Christian groups for quite some time. The Colosseum was once filled with Christians fending off lions. Then it was filled with pagans fending off lions. The Christians put them there. The games remain the same. The religion that was persecuted was simply different. This happened for hundreds and hundreds of years. To drag paganism into it and to insinuate that a person's religiosity, whether real and genuine or whether feigned and just simply a public facade, has something to do with their personal behavior on that level, I think is completely wrong. And so Tucker Carlson needs to open a history textbook. You will find that plenty of people around the world of all stripes, all religions, creeds, and so forth, have done terrible things. They've also done good things. Although I will say it is fun for self-deprecation purposes, like how many pagans does it take to screw in a light bulb? None, because the Christians invented those. You know, you can joke about things a little bit. What's the best way to see my cock? Through a microscope. Tigers are my totem, sent $5. Thank you very much. Tarl the Tooth Warwick's abandoned daughter. Help, cuck dad. Mommy's back in rehab. I want drugs. Yeah. The bonus holes. Already did. They banned us for our views on capital punishment and for a helicopter ride comment. Didn't threaten anyone. Didn't engage in incitement. We expressed legal views where other users post similar things with impunity. Well, you've got a target on your back. I would say send me the exact post that you got banned for on DM, and I'll try to get something going. Bocephus, the people who want refugees also want our guns. Yeah, I have noticed that. Isn't that interesting? Yes, it's totally coincidental, by the way. Sigil Stone, good morning. Got my elk and venison biltong. Fucking delicious. Going to be a hot ticket item. The venison biltong from Anton's is definitely my new favorite. I haven't tried the elk yet because I want to open them one at a time. It's even better than the carbonasi. It's even better than the bison. It's got just the right flavor. A little bit of sweetness. You can tell that it's deer. It's a miracle. It's a true 10 out of 10 food. I ate some earlier before I went out to the garden. I'm going to eat some later before I go out again. Mulgera, I think you missed my first super chat. My apologies, but no, you said Trumpet LP National and my slam vocals being Styx approved. The last 24 hours have been interesting to say the least. That was the first super chat that I got on Rumble. My apologies. If I missed anything, it's a problem with Rumble, not on my end. Sigil Stone, what's so bad about pagans? They just like getting ass fucked. Jesus. Next news story. We've got some protesters at UCLA. UCLA protesters fighting, throwing objects between competing demonstrations. Yes, indeed. This is when it breaks down and it stops being a peaceful protest. They shouldn't even use the term protesters. They should say rioters. If two groups of people are at odds with one another, so you've got pro-Israeli and pro-Palestinian protesters on the campus, and they're just shouting slogans and carrying signs and stuff, that should be respected. As long as they're not intimidating anyone or preventing anyone from going to class, that's protected speech. When they begin throwing things at each other and have to get broken up by the riot squad, that's a little bit different. It's no longer a legitimate form of protest. It has devolved into an unlawful riot, or at least a non-peaceful, fiery but mostly peaceful protest. Yeah, I know I immolated these two cops with the Molotov cocktail, but it's protected speech, will say some people. It's really strange. UCLA has seen the worst of it so far, I think, other than that one Jewish student getting stabbed in the eye with a flagpole. And I think she didn't lose her eye or anything like that. That's the good news, but it shouldn't have happened. Here's what I would say. There are effectively three groups of protests going on right now. The first are basically people are just standing there with signs. They're showing solidarity with Gaza, solidarity with Israel, whatever they want to say. They're not doing anything else. It's just a demonstration, perfectly protected under the First Amendment. The second group of people is haranguing others and being disruptive. Maybe there's property damage too, but it's not particularly violent. You don't see what you saw here at UCLA. While punishment should be administered, and while that is not a lawful protest, it's not a huge deal. Then you get mobs of people that are attacking each other, destroying everything in their path, and shit like that. Those people should be removed from those colleges and universities entirely. Whether they're supporting Palestine or Israel at that point is immaterial. I think the other day, wasn't it? I think it was at Columbia actually earlier, last night rather. They removed the students from their encampment there, and then there were a bunch of students that were singing the national anthem actually, which is a good show of solidarity. Probably a lot more students singing the national anthem than protesting for Palestine. Again, I don't believe in Israel or Palestine. I'm Team America. And that's the sort of solidarity that we need. I don't have solidarity with the Israelis or with the Palestinians. I don't give a damn what they do. They can do whatever the fuck they want in their own land, and I have nothing to do with it. I feel sorry for the civilians on both sides suffering. So people taken hostage, people whose homes have been bombed out and so forth, I feel sorry for them. I don't give a damn about the governments of either side. I really don't. Charles the Tooth Warwick's abandoned daughter, real dad Levon, said, I can stand on the corner. The bonus holes already sent with screenshots. Just sent DM to put it at top. Thank you very much. I'll take a look at that. I think you had sent it before, but I lost track of it because unfortunately I get so many fucking DMs for news purposes. Billy, thoughts on Biden admin taking all PSs as lifetime refugee status? Mossad leaked documents said it's their goal to push them west to the United States. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, again, it's much like with the Syrian refugees. I felt sorry for Syrians that were displaced by ISIS activity, the FSA, and so forth. But then I thought to myself, is it wise to bring them to Western Europe, to the US, etc.? No, because they see those countries as involved in why they're refugees in the first place. It's not that I don't give a damn about these people. I mean, they're civilians. A lot of them are kids and women and so forth. They're elderly people, people that are suffering. That's true. But think about this. You're a 10-year-old Syrian kid, or in this case, a 10-year-old Palestinian kid. You've probably been told multiple times the United States is fundamentally behind your suffering. Now, all of a sudden, Uncle Sam is saying, hey, you can live in this pod apartment here in the United States. Are you thankful for that? Or are you saying, man, I just wish I could have stayed back in my home country. I liked it there. It's what I'm used to. Now I'm expected to learn this weird language and all these weird customs, these laws and things like that. I wouldn't be very happy. If somebody bombed my home here and then they said, okay, but it's okay, you can go and live in Greece or something like that, I'd say, okay, that's great. I mean, Greek food is wonderful, so that wouldn't be a problem. But now I have to learn Greek, And I didn't really want to be here, maybe on a vacation, but I wanted to be back in the United States. I wanted to be back in my home. And that's my big problem with the refugee and migrant problem. Deus Flex. It's starting to resemble the summer of love of 2020, only this time the legacy media can't say this is Trump's America with a COVID tracker on the corner this time around. Yeah, they're having a little bit of a problem. Their messaging is having an issue at the moment. Sigil Stone, the elk is more meaty than the venison, not as sweet, also 10 out of 10. Oh, I can't wait. I know that I like elk. I've had elk jerky before, and biltong is way better than jerky. Mulgara, oh no, that was the one. I may have just not heard it because I'm kind of retarded, lol. Well, you get a freebie shout out. Mayor Mike, good morning. I never heard your take on Steel Panther. Any enjoyment? Haven't listened to it yet. And yes, Mayor Mike, as well. I've got those goodies that you sent me. I'll be shouting those out. Deep Space Doggy Dog. I got banned on X on 420 with the birthday in mind. My new account was born that day at mine_Igor. Mine_Igor. I get the reference. Mulgara. Do you think Trump will actually show up to the LP National? I have my doubts personally. Most libertarians don't like him because of warp speed. I think that he's willing to do it. Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that right now. By the way, we have Rubens for dinner tonight and French fries, and I'm hoping green beans because, you need some vegetables there, and mine in the garden haven't sprouted yet. I planted a lot of vegetables. I've still got more work to do now. The Libertarian Party, LP National. This is their official page, so this is not a parody, and apparently this is real. We sent a letter to the campaigns of both former President Trump and President Biden recently. We are happy to announce that we received this response from President Trump. I'm in. Libertarian National Convention, Washington, D.C., May 23rd. Some people are calling them sellouts for this, and I find it funny. The persistence. This is Scott Pressler. By the way, you should follow him. Wow, President Trump is going to attend the Libertarian National Convention. This is terrific news. I agree. Libertarians need to learn more pragmatism, and Trump should be nudged in the direction of libertarianism. It's a very reciprocal situation, actually. If he has to play it up to the libertarian populace to gobble up an extra 1 million votes or something like that, and he can do it successfully, well, it helps him win. It helps give the LP more exposure. It's a win-win. It's perfect. Yes. I'm a libertarian, small L version. I'm on the fringe of it as a classical liberal. I just wish that there was more pragmatism that was found there. The problem with libertarianism is not that the ideology is wrong. The ideology is fundamentally correct and fundamentally in line with what our founders intended. The problem is twofold. Number one, people that are well outside of that realm of, yes, we have a state, but it's significantly constrained and should be constrained a hell of a lot more, are drowned out by people who go well beyond that and go into the realm of anarchism, which is not what our founders intended. It's not pragmatic. It can't win an election. That's number one. And number two, poor messaging, I think, to an extent. Libertarians have great ideas, but then they don't actually get out there as much. They don't circulate as much. By having the former president of the United States and presumptive future president of the United States even paying lip service to the movement, even though it's not even within his party, that would be a big thing. I think it's a good idea. AP for Liberty, you can come back now. I can't wait to watch it. Yeah, El Rey, I can't forgive Operation Warp Speed. Sorry. Cat Patrol, let me get this straight. The failed businessman who honed a career leeching from the state as the celebrated guest speaker at the Libertarian Party event, you guys sound confused. But if you're aiming for independence and critical thinking, maybe try RFK Jr. The problem being RFK Jr., you realize that he's an anti-gunner who wants to jail business people if they denounce the existence of climate change, right? He's not a libertarian, dude. RFK Jr. has bamboozled a lot of people in thinking that he is, and mainly because of his war against basic bitch censorship. Shit, even liberal commentators have been on board with that. Doomy Grunt Ventures. Today's my birthday, so I won't be hanging around too long. Might go hiking and get a range membership afterwards. Happy birthday to Doomy Grunt Ventures. Super Mario. Sticks, I cut down my drinking and started losing weight. However, today is a cheat day. Cheers. Oh, don't take a cheat day. That's not the way to do it, man. It won't work, because then you'll want another cheat day the next time you get stressed. I understand alcoholism. Kong H, if Trump is in prison, what will happen if he wins? He will exit the prison, and he will gloat and grin, and it will be the most monumental point in modern U.S. political history. Tarl the Tooth Warwick's abandoned daughter. Get it? I'm a hoe like mommy. Giggles in Dutch. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Mulgera. A lot of the regime libertarians who bitch about not getting relevance are spurging the fuck out over this. It's been very entertaining. Oh, I know. I love it. Webster's Wares. Good morning, Clankers. To celebrate having our fourth kiddo, we want to offer 25% off site-wide for the next week using code CLANKER25 at websterswares.com. Sticks. What is your favorite fruit tree? Peaches. Unfortunately, in this climate, it's iffy whether they'll grow. We had one peach tree. It finally died, hit the end of its life. It got two good flushes. The first one was as sweet as a goddamn nut, and it was amazing. The second one, the fruits weren't that sweet for some reason. Bulgaria, yeah, I'm a big L libertarian, lol, a Rothbardian in particular. If you haven't read Anatomy of the State, let me know and I'll send it your way. It's an excellent read. Thank you. Cat cans. Trump had to follow his medical advisor just like every president does. I remember a time conservatives complaining that they weren't rolling out the vax fast enough. Yeah, I remember that. And the liberals were jumping down his throat. People demanded it. Warp speed was done because the public demanded it. So were travel bans to and from China, actually. Hindsight is always 20/20. I pointed out that the travel ban was pragmatic and politically necessary if he wasn't going to get kicked out of office, but wouldn't do anything. And I was correct about that, and I take pride in it. By the way, let's get to our merch partners now. We've got pumpkinfirecrafts.us, where you can get keychains, belt chains, bookmarks, engraved spoons, and of course, amulets. Some of them are dog tag style, some of them are leather. They're handmade and pretty cool. Got a bunch of them in the other room, actually. We've got BillTongUSA.com. Yes, Anton can now hook you up with venison and elk, actually, although I think it's pre-order at the moment. I'm not 100% sure. I recommend the bison as well, although I will say, yeah, the venison is my favorite so far. He definitely needs to manufacture a lot of that. Use code STICKS for free shipping. We have wickedneedleembroidery.bigcartel.com, where you can get Sticks, Hex, and Hammer hats like the one right behind me. HeritageHeirloomSeedCompany.com, where you can get seed survival buckets. We are now past April, so they'll presumptively be on there announcing the winner. I'm not sure if they'll have a contest for May. And also, you can get the Sticks, Hex, and Hammer soap collection. Yes, we have an official soap actually now. Clove, cedar, and blueberry. Gives up a good lather. Really, really nice smell. It'll make you smell like autumn, basically. And, you know, the animals will flock to you, trying to eat you, potentially. Websterswares.com/sticks-wares, where you can get Sticks, Hex, and Hammer beanies, now available, by the way. Trump paraphernalia, Sticks paraphernalia, various things are available there. Some miscellanea, of course. Jamandbean.com, JAMNbean.com, where you can get delicious coffee and delicious tea. They have various blends available. Favorite coffee is the Costa Rica blend. The teas are all great, so I don't know exactly if I have a favorite. I do actually like to drink tea on occasion. You know, something is a stormy day, especially a hot stormy day. You can't go out in the garden, so you just sit there and look at the garden drinking tea, you know? And finally, MTPew, that is MTPEW.com, where you can get ammunition of various kinds. 5.56, 223, 40 Smith & Wesson, 45, 9mm, and more available, both newly manufactured and range brass. So those are our merch partners. Christopher McHale, wildlife biologist. Sticks, may I please have a shout out? Clank, clank. Yes, our wildlife biologist may absolutely have a shout out. Thank you very much. Rickrod95, as an occultist, do you believe in determinism in which everything is meant to happen, or do you believe that you can control your fate and destiny? I am not a determinist. I flirted with it many years ago, finally dropped that and said, no, I don't believe in determinism because I'm not sure that the machinations of existence are limited. So I said, if it's a limited machine, so to speak, determinism would be real. Every atom, its spin, every chemical quantity, every bit of energy is accounted for. if you had an infinitely large computer, you could effectively predict the future. Everything would be formulaic. I don't believe in that, though, because I don't believe that it's a limited machination, the universe, that is. I believe that existence is eternal in all directions and in all ways. There's an infinite amount of energy, an infinite amount of space, and so forth. So I don't believe in determinism. However, I do believe in the guidance of individuals. I don't believe in fate, but I do believe in guidance. Kong H. Trump can't pardon himself from state prison? No, because he's a federal official. Also, he's not currently in office. Clarity2199, please visit the Toy and Plastic Brick Museum in Bel Air, Ohio. Opens August 15th. We are on Facebook and Google. Yes, indeed. I did get your message earlier. I did respond, but I can't check them right now because, I'm on a live stream. Aaron Bennett, do you think a judgment will be ruled before the election? And if so, do you think the jury will convict or not? Very difficult to tell the latter. We'll have to look at more oral arguments and sort of get a feel for the direction in which those cases are going. I don't know if they're going to do it before the election. The Jack Smith case, I think they're punting that down the road. With the Bragg case, you might get something earlier. Charles the Tooth Warwick's abandoned daughter. Cuck dad spends super chat money on drugs, not kids. Yeah, you got to get that coke in. What am I talking about, It's important to snort cocaine. Disclaimer, I am being facetious, of course. Really, I've never even seen cocaine. I only ever use soft drugs like marijuana. Virgil Shadow, do you have a favorite classical liberal whose work you really admire? Yeah, Thomas Jefferson and Thomas Paine. Billdozer74, speaking of the jab and public demand, check out the American version of the series Utopia. The parallels with what went on that time broke my brain for a couple of days. Heritage Heirloom Seed Company, congratulations to L. Hart. Your order amount will be refunded as our April 2024 giveaway winner. Congratulations to L. Hart. Indeed. Deus Flex, your LP rant just reminded me to check how Carolyn Borisenko is doing and noticed one of her videos from the last week is titled, Is Nick Fuentes the Sexiest Man Alive? LOL. Interesting. I have not seen that. There are a lot of people that I follow on Twitter and I never get notified when they post. And she's fallen into that same group now. I used to get notified of her posts, and now I don't. And the DPRK news page, they're on there. The Belarus news, those are parodies. The Belarus and DPRK news pages, clearly made by somebody who's pro-West overall. They're still funny as fuck, though. I wish that the old Food Network parody account was still up. Oh, they'd say the craziest shit, like Guy Fieri doing a shit fart in his jean shorts and then making a chili with jelly beans while he cries about his dad doesn't love him and stuff like that. Oh, it was great. I wish somebody had archived that. That was prior to the Archive Everything movement, and I really, really regret that. If I had one tech regret, I think that would probably be on the top 3 list, honestly. Should probably go about archiving the DPRK news page. News organizations have trust issues as they geared up to cover another election, a poll finds. Well, more than one poll. 53% of people extremely concerned about the reporting of inaccurate information or disinfo, and 30% more of people at least somewhat concerned. 48% extremely concerned about them focusing too much on division or controversy. 47% reporting information that has not been confirmed or verified. This should be 100%. It happens all the goddamn time. 44% reporting factual information that favors one side of an issue. That's natural. That one I wouldn't be concerned about because they're of necessity. They're going to do that. Using AI, focusing on who may win and not enough on issues, not representing the views of people in your community in stories. I'm assuming that that's a racial breakdown mostly. And at the dead last, focusing too much on the election, not enough on other topics and issues that affect you or your family. So that 30% cohort there is, hey, the economy is so fucking shitty, I don't even care about the election beyond defeating Joe Biden. And I was just thinking to myself how ludicrous this was. If you want people to have trust in legacy media, all you have to do is do journalism, right? All you have to do is report the facts and not do the things that people are concerned because you're doing. But you are doing it. It is absolutely objective that you report non-factual things, that you ignore factual things when it's convenient, that you play up division, that you deliberately sow discord. You love it when a war breaks out because it makes for better reporting. It makes you more money. The legacy media is guilty of all of these things and much, much more. It's self-evident. Look at Hunter Biden's laptop, for example, the greatest lie by omission of all time. They said, we're not going to investigate it because there's nothing to investigate, and we know that because we have nothing to investigate. Totally circular reasoning. They said that it wasn't real. When they were confronted with the fact that it was real, they said, yeah, but some of this stuff might be shooped or manufactured in some way. When it was shown that it wasn't, they said, yeah, but the chain of custody broke down, and so, whatever happens, happens. And then the FBI grabs it, they confirm it's actually real, and then they say, well, it's not as damning as people think. It's really a nothing burger. They totally circled the wagons for the 2020 election. They lied flat out to the republic, to the entire republic. They lied to everyone in it. They lied about certain medical topics that we won't mention further because it's a YouTube stream here as well. They've lied about all sorts of things, or they don't do their due diligence. Sometimes it's a lie in the sense that they say that they're journalists and they're doing their journalistic due diligence, and they're simply not doing that. Project Veritas does. Commentators like myself do. We try to explore nuance. We try to analyze things like, what's my job? How do I make my money? Half my money comes from simply trying to be factual. So I can't really put spin in there. I mean, I can layer it on top, but I've got to give people the actual numbers. I'm not going to pretend that a poll that's aggregated by RCP, which I refer to repeatedly, is not newsworthy simply because it gives a result that I don't believe in or I don't agree with. I'm still going to report on that. Legacy media doesn't do that. So yeah, no shit. People don't trust you? No. Really? They don't trust the legacy media? Could it be because they've been lied to over and over and over again for years and years now? Well, technically decades. And you're practically state-run media at this point. You're openly coordinating with the White House for economic news. Why should I believe that you're not for other forms of news as well? It'd be odd if you weren't. The bonus holes. Coke sucks. It's a waste of money. Don't bother. Did it a couple times. Barely any high that lasts like 10 minutes and makes your face numb. Better to just OD on caffeine. Yeah, I never did any hard drugs. Never will. I don't even use the soft ones anymore. Johnny Cash, I asked a while ago about Tulsi VP and you were strongly opposed. What changed aside from Second Amendment? Appreciate your work, man. Wish your audience was larger. It's a decent-sized audience already, I will say. The gun thing really is number one. Number two, she has come out totally swinging against censorship and sounds almost like Donald Trump on that issue. I think she would be a good running mate. I realize that there are some things about her that people will not reconcile with, but I genuinely believe that she has had an honest conversion away from liberalism, at least in the partisan sense with the Democratic Party. They threw her under the bus. They berated her constantly because she voted differently from them a couple of fucking times. And she said, you know what? Fuck you. And she decided to side with the good guys. Tara the Tooth's Warwick's abandoned daughter. Cuck Dad doesn't see Coke silly. He snorts it. Ha ha ha. Yeah, you look at it with your nose. That's the whole point. Rick Astley's Revenge. Hey, Sticks, what's the best way to move from Canada to the U.S.? I don't know. You have to sign a bunch of immigration forms. Thankfully, I think it's a little bit easier for Canadians. I mean, if you already know English and stuff like that, that's definitely going to be an advantage. Aaron Bennett. With concern to presidential immunity SCOTUS case, what happens if they state Trump did have presidential immunity and would it affect the cases? It would destroy the Jack Smith case immediately. Would completely destroy it. Heritage here. Oh, I already did that one. You didn't. Yeah. Certain death. Do you think that the more lawfare, the higher the chance of a Trump dynasty, insurance policy style? Yeah, they're trying to take him down. If he beats all the charges, he wins. If they charge him, he probably wins. I mean, it would be hilarious. The American people like a little bit of a rebel now, don't they? So it'd be hilarious to vote somebody into office who's currently behind bars. Cat cans. I don't smoke anything. Don't drink alcohol. Don't take any pill. I have my Kratom in the morning, but otherwise I'm a teetotaler. But if they legalize cocaine, I would do that shit every day. I love it. I wouldn't. I'm not going to try that shit. Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. Sigil Stone 17. You don't get notified of people on Twitter because you're not interacting with their content. Do more liking and I'll start showing and notifying you of their posts. No, it's not. It's definitely not that. I interact with the DPRK news page sometimes. Virgil Shadow. Any hope that the term liberal will ever return to its classical meaning, or is it hijacked for good? Only in the U.S. And in Europe, it's understood in its more original meaning. The Emperor's Champion. The NFA and GCA is going to be dead and gone in the next 5 to 10 years. Tops Tulsi talking about getting rid of the NFA is an excellent sign. Yeah, I agree. Next news story in medical news. We can actually talk about this element of medicine. Cranberry extracts could boost microbiota and counter cardiometabolic diseases. That's good news. I happen to love cranberries, by the way. I like the really pure cranberry juice. So just pressed cranberry juice. No sugar added, no preservatives, literally nothing, literally just cranberry juice. And of course, cranberry sauce is really bitchin' on Thanksgiving. I would eat it more often than then. Whenever it's cold weather, you need comfy foods. Have it with a roast chicken, have it with a turkey, have it with ham, have it with potatoes. They're really good mixed together, by the way. You get herby, buttery mashed potatoes and you mix it with the cranberry sauce. Oh yeah, is that good? Cranberry extracts appear to improve intestinal microbiota and help prevent chronic diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. A recent study by Université Laval and the Institute of Nutritional and Functional Foods reported beneficial effects after only 4 days of use. Cranberries and berries, in general, are associated with multiple health benefits, mainly attributed to their high content of polyphenols in the form of tannins. Also, they have a lot of fiber. They also contain high concentrations of oligosaccharides, small fibers that are thought to contribute to bioactivity. The research team, led by Yves Desjardins, professor at the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences, showed that the polyphenols and oligosaccharides present in cranberry extract boost the genus Bifidobacterium, associated with a reduced risk of diabetes and cardiometabolic diseases. The work is published in the journal NPJ Biofilms and Microbiomes. Normally, these bacteria are stimulated by dietary fiber consumption. I got plenty of them in me then, especially when the garden starts to bloom. We observed the same effect with cranberry extract with a dose almost 20 times lower, says Jacob Lessard-Lord, a postdoctoral fellow at INAF. Cranberry extracts also stimulate the Akkermansia muciniphila bacterium, which plays an important role in the intestinal mucosa, helping to reduce inflammation and strengthen the intestinal barrier. So, if you like a stiff drink once in a while, you can shoot it down with some cranberry juice, I guess, and you'll be fine. It's a good thing. Cranberry is delicious. I don't understand. I've known people who don't like the taste of cranberry, and it's too sour for them or something. I'm like, what the fuck? You can add orange juice to it. That's sort of what you do when you're stewing your cranberries for the sauce. You're rendering it down. You do need some sweetness in there. I like mine more on the tart side than the canned ship. I'll just put it that way. I add less than half as much sugar as most of the recipes call for. I like a tart sauce. I want it to have some sourness to it. That's the whole fucking point. I don't want it to be too sweet. I don't like sweet foods very much. Let's see. Mulgera, I feel bad for the classical liberals, honestly. The term has been hijacked even in the Libertarian Party. You'll have the left libertarians using the term and then advocating for foreign intervention. Yeah, it's kind of weird. There's no such thing as a left libertarian. Leftist economics necessitate authoritarianism and centrality. I've already made a video on that subject years ago. Deus Flex, all jokes aside, if Trump can rally crowds in New York City outside the courtroom of all places, imagine the possible reception he'll get at the LP convention. That'd be interesting. The Dashing Rogue, is Liz single now? No, she is married to me, actually. I've got a ring on for a reason, dude. And then finally, judge rules on Trump's alleged gag order violations in hush money trial. Judge Juan Merchan warned the former president, or Mercan, I don't know how to pronounce it, could face jail time if he continues to violate the directive. Good goddamn luck with that. I am so hoping that Donald Trump pokes the bear, antagonizes the court, and ends up in a jail cell. Because it'll be legendary. All of the oxygen will be completely sucked out of the room. People will interpret it as persecution, say, look, the dude's literally campaigning for the presidency and you're putting him in a jail cell over the weekend and shit like that. It would win him the election. Donald Trump would be well warned to antagonize the court. He should continue to antagonize this particular judge who seems perfectly happy to slap him on the wrist. I think it's a bluff, though. I think it's a bluff. A $9,000 fine is a lot for you or me. That's what he got fined for supposedly violating the unconstitutional gag order in this case. It's fine. It's a lot. $9,000 would be a lot to me. Like, I could use that to expand the garden. I can use that to travel. I can store it for a rainy day. I can, and under Bidenomics, I can buy a couple of containers of French fries. It's probably about $9,000 the next year anyway with Biden inflation. But it's nothing to Trump. You think that Trump has a difficulty paying $9,000 fine? He doesn't give a fucking shit. He probably immediately shrugged his shoulders, chuckled to himself, and plotted his next Truth Social post. And he should do that. Force the judge to jail you, and then see what happens politically. It'll be a freak show. It'd be hilarious. I mean, I'd probably have to immediately start a live stream. I'm like, if Trump posts anything weird on Truth Social in the coming days, maybe I'll have to pull an all-nighter just so that I can get ahead of the news cycle if that should happen. He should probably do that because it would be politically, it would be a huge win for him. $9,000. Like maybe if it were like $9 million, Trump would appeal the decision or something. He's just going to take he'll give you $9,000 in pennies or something like that. That's what I would do. If I were Donald Trump, I'd troll the court. I'd have $9,000 in pennies delivered to the courthouse with an entourage. And then I'd go and willfully violate the gag order again the next day. And I'd say, fuck you. I would literally tell the judge to fuck themselves. What are you going to do about it? You're going to put a presidential nominee in jail. That's going to work real well. It's totally not going to backfire in any way, shape, or form. They don't know what they're toying with here. Mulgera. A lot of the classical liberals in the LP are literally just neolibs. Hell, I've seen some of them be in favor of the bombings of Tokyo and the nuking of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yeah, no, I know. There are definitely people that are libertarian in name only. Linos, you could call them. Mulgera, when I say left libertarians, I mean more of the old guard types, like Cato Institute types, unlike the Moses Caucus people who I love. I think you mean Mises Caucus, by the way. BW, been trying to get Dr. Turley to talk to you. He says that he would love to talk to you in his last stream, but he never seems to answer me. He got a super chat from someone named Sticks in his last chat. Yeah, if he gets in touch, yeah, it'd be cool. And he said if it was you, he would love to talk to you. Yeah, no, it wasn't me. Somebody posing as me, I guess. Ego Mayhem, oh my God, please jail him. Please do it. No balls, please. Yeah, I know. Can you imagine how fucking hilarious it would be? He'd be giving a jailhouse interview. He's got his coffee and his toast there, and he's just sitting on the bunk in the jail talking to the reporters or something. That would be great. It would secure him re-election. He's hoping that they jail him. He's basically daring them to do so. He has repeatedly violated the gag order willfully. He knows what he's doing. I encourage him to continue. Say your mind. You can be, if they find you another 9,000, you just say, oh shit, I just lost 2 seconds work. Fuck, I'm never going to get those 2 seconds back. Sigilstone. Vegeta, what's the scouter say about the unconstitutional fine? It's over 9,000. Well, no, it's actually exactly 9,000 in this case. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's Meat Neat. Free shipping for your Biltong using code STICKS on BiltongUSA.com and AntonsUSA.com. Check out our import groceries online or in store in Denton and Roanoke, Texas. The venison, Anton. You're going to need to make a lot of it because I have a feeling that that's going to be very, very popular. Tomorrow I'll probably do a shout-out video. Some other people have sent me things. And I guess I'll eat some biltong as well. I'm probably going to do some elk too. If it's less sweet but meatier, I kind of like the sweetness of the venison. It's a little bit on the sweet meat side. I think it's delicious. I'm going to be eating a handful of that before I go out to plow up the little circles for the rest of the melons out there that I got to put out. Redane, Sticks, try crack. Your life will never be the same. Yeah, it'll probably be a lot shittier. Sparky, greetings, fearless leader. Greetings to you as well. Rolf, I thought left libertarians were hippies. Yeah, it's about the closest that you can possibly get to real left libertarianism. But they were anarchists. Some of them were kind of ANCAPs when you think about it. Jay Reed, do you see Zionism in America first divorcing? I don't know. Things are getting weird on the political spectrum at times these days. Sparky, add Glenn Greenwald to your list of journalists and commentators to follow. Already do, actually. Yeah, I like Greenwald. I don't always agree with him, but he seems to have a good head on his shoulders. Crossover maniac. Trump doesn't even bother opening his wallet to pay the fine. He has Barron look in the folds of his couch for some lost Benjamins and pay it off. Yeah, $9,000. That's totally not a bluff move by the fucking court. They could have fined him more than that. Made it reasonably meaningful. Could have fined him the average person's yearly salary, actually. But instead, they slapped him on the wrist. It's basically, please, Mr. Trump, don't do this again. They're not going to fucking jail him, I don't think. And if they do, then they're fucking insane. It'd be hilarious. I hope they do. I'm actually hoping for Donald Trump to spend a weekend behind bars because it means he'll be president again. At that point, I'll just fucking call the election. People would love that. That'd be hilarious. Do you really think that that's going to hurt him? As though indicting him on almost 100 felony charges, that shot him up in the polls. It got him a sympathy vote. If you put him behind bars and he gets imagine the picture, imagine the money you'd make of just a picture of Donald Trump. Some staffer takes a picture of him glaring out between the bars. That picture would be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, probably. A single goddamn picture. He takes one for the team and spends a goddamn weekend in jail or a week in jail or something like that, where he's got Secret Service, by the way, there with him the entire time. They'll be able to tell their tale as well. It's going to be naked persecution. Everyone will know it. Independent voters aren't going to be able to ignore that. Yeah. MF Sam 69. The fines are constrained by law. That's why they threaten Trump with jail. Yeah, but are they brave and do they have the balls to do that? By the way, if I were Joe Biden right now, I would be calling Merchant on the phone and saying, I know he's running his mouth. He's clearly doing this deliberately. Just keep fining him. I know that it's tedious. I know it's a lot to go through. I know, hell, it's delaying the proceedings of the main trial and everything else, and that's also part of the point. But if you put him in jail, even if it's like an overnight in jail, I'm screwed. If I were Joe Biden, I would be having a middleman courier going over to Merchand's chambers right now. Rock or something. I get the reference, the MRE reference. I don't trust the SS enough to protect Trump in jail right now. No, neither do I. But it'd be a little bit on the nose if he were to get shanked in a jail cell. And anyway, he would be around the drunks and the derelicts. He wouldn't be in prison. He'd be in a jail. They might try. We'll see. I hope that they don't, because that would probably break the spine of our republic, but they might be crazy enough, Deus Flex, the fact that the judge only fined him $9,000 shows he's terrified of pushing the envelope further. Exactly. They could have already put him in a jail cell. Instead, they gave him what amounts to him a literal nothing judgment. $9,000 means nothing when you're worth billions. It would be like if you fined me $5. I'll wipe my ass with $5. I don't give a damn. Who cares? I'll do it again just to spite you. Because I'm paying you to troll you at that point, like several people in the super chats have been doing for a number of weeks now, actually. Hey, if you pay me, perfectly fine. Sparky. As an example of how far Jimmy Dore has come since he left the Young Turks, Jimmy is now pro-Second Amendment and is beginning to become a climate change skeptic. It's a good idea to watch his show for real news. I do occasionally watch Jimmy Dore. Again, I think sometimes it's broken clock mode more than anything else. Mar as well, I would say. There are liberal commentators that are intelligent. That's why they're not listened to by their fellow liberals. That's why whenever Jimmy Dore or Bill Maher have a good take, they say something that's saying like, hey, persecuting Donald Trump with lawfare probably backfires and isn't a good idea. They get called right wing. Oh, you're an apologist. Maybe the Russians paid you or something like that. Sigil Stone, it's Vegeta, not Vegeta. How did you get high in college and not watch Dragon Ball Z? Never watched it. Never was interested in it, actually. A lot of people really, really love it. I've never seen a single episode, only meme clips, basically. I don't know how to pronounce it. Vegeta, vagina. Yeah, who knows and who cares? Now, the only anime that I really got into, I liked The Slayers. That was an old 90s series. And I've watched, Howl's Moving Castle is a good movie. And then there's that one, what is it called? Kiki's Delivery Service was pretty fun. I don't know. I don't really have much to do with it. I mean, I watched the Pokemon animated series back in the day, but twiggy little shit. Guess we are watching it. I'd rather just watch Howl again, honestly. I don't know. It looks good. Full Metal Alchemist looked good too. I watched a couple of episodes of that back in the day. It's not like it's something that I don't think I'd be interested in. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bad-mouthing Dragon Ball Z. It looks like it would be fun. I just don't have a huge amount of time to watch series and stuff like that. Although I would say I liked Wednesday, and Lucifer is an excellent series. Still got to watch all of that. That's probably my favorite modern series is Lucifer. King of Biltong, apparently you and I have that in common. Never seen one episode of Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. N.O. Dave, I have heard of Cowboy Bebop. I know nothing about that particular series, but I don't know. I will watch anime. I have no problem with it. I don't consider it to be like cringe or anything like that. So don't worry. I'm not bad-mouthing anime. I'm just saying that when given the choice, I tend to watch like old documentaries and stuff like that. That's my forte. Old movies and shit like that. Ego Mayhem, Zelos is Best Slayer's character. Also, Howl's Moving Castle is an amazing book. It's whimsical. You'll love to go read it. Yeah, that was an excellent movie. They did an exquisite job on that. Webster's Wares. How funny would it be if they jailed him after he wins the election? Haha. Well, then they can't. They're not going to be able to jail a sitting president. You'd have to impeach and remove him from office. I don't think that you're going to have the votes to do that since it requires a supermajority in Congress to do so. You'd need an awful lot of Republican senators to effectively destroy their own careers. Senators really love their careers because they're good money. King James IX. Check out Jujutsu Kaisen. You'll love that. It's a lot of action and very occult overall vibes. Cowboy Bebop is amazing, yo. Yeah, people giving me a Samurai Jack. N.O. Dave, I watched that as a kid. Yes, Samurai Jack was fun. By the way, please send no more super chats. I got a couple more little patches I need to maul up out back for the cantaloupes, actually. And also remember, at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, I go live with the quartering. So you should tune into his broadcast, Rumble or YouTube. I think he prefers it on Rumble. And so I'll be his co-host again today. The Dashing Rogue, watch Record of Lotus War. Huns with Guns, just avoid the Lolicon anime. Yeah, I'm not interested in that sort of thing. I've used 4chan. I understand what you're referring to. We'll say no more. VT802 for the win. I want to buy and convert the abandoned Diamond Run Mall and convert it into a chemical and bioweapons decommissioning facility. How can I get the Rutland City Council to approve of my great idea? Give them a lot of money. They'll do anything if you pay them enough. Sigil Stone, don't watch Full Metal Alchemist. It's dog shit. I don't know. From what I saw, it looked fairly good. Mulgera, if you haven't, you should watch Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away. I think I may have watched Spirited Away. Not 100% sure. Both are great movies by the same people that did Kiki's. Yeah, I know there's quite a plethora of interesting anime movies. Also, there's another one. What was it? Azumanga Daioh or something back in the day? That was more of a kid's anime, but I was a kid at the time. I watched that. It was all right. That was more of a soap opera anime than anything else. Deus Flex, Hellsing Ultimate would be my top anime recommendation. Why? Dracula and Nazi vampires. Goodness. Sparky, some think you've sold out to the establishment. They don't see your evil plan. We're now armed with real news. You'll be able to destroy the Daily Wire from within. Muhahaha. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, Renaissance Novice. Man, Sticks, you need to get on 4chan some more or something. Your takes have been getting really bad lately. Yes, to Twiggy, yes. I knew it sounded familiar. Spirited Away. I think that was pretty good. Say Howl is at top. For series, I think Slayers is at the top. A lot of food obsession in these series. Like, you always have these characters that are massively hungry and just chow down on everything that moves and shit like that. I think it's a sort of a stereotypical anime fixture. Vincent, libertarian, nuclear weapons owning local farmer? Yeah, if it were possible, everyone should have a recreational McNuke. That, unfortunately, is not actually feasible. BW, hate ultimate, regular Helsing is better. Interesting. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. I thank you to the over 4,000 people who tuned in at peak. I will be back tomorrow, of course, with more news. Again, 5:30 Eastern time, I go live with the quartering on his channel. So I will be co-hosting with him, and probably on Friday as well, because I missed one Wednesday a few weeks ago. So, oh, wait, we got one more super chat. Talk a Woman Sandy Ravage. Best anime film was Ninja Scroll. Haven't heard of it. We'll check out a synopsis or something. Thank you for all the anime recommendations, too. I'm going to go eat biltong and then plow in for the cantaloupe plants because it's got to be done. It is indeed time to garden. That's about all. Peace out.